Hello, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? My name is Jake Scheidel. This is a podcast about reality TVs and friendship. Each week I talk about a certain reality show with my best friend, Thomas Powell. Hey, Thomas, how you doing over there?
Oh, I'm just swell.
Good.
You know? Just enjoying life.
You say you're swell or swole?
Swole.
Yeah, good.
I said swell, but I'm also swole.
Good. That's how we like it.
It's like, do you even lift?
Right? God.
Bro, do you even lift?
Do you even lift? Like weights? Like,
why are you skipping leg day?
you gotta do leg day. You can't skip leg day.
Traps, latissimus dorsi,
Are these muscles?
triceps.
Yeah, I've
got
heard of
them
that
all.
one. Oh, you got all the muscles?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Sometimes people don't have those, but I do.
Well,
I do have them.
I am proud of you, and I have a question for you. Did you watch Survivor last night?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, buddy. This week's episode was called Player Go Home, which I don't think anybody said that in the episode.
No, I think that they didn't find a good quote or a quote that worked for them, so they were like, let's just say like a generic thing. That'll work.
Yeah, I mean, it worked.
It'd be better if it was like player go home, not player go home.
See, that would have been clever. It's like they just have a fishbowl of like default episode titles, and they just picked one out of the fishbowl, and we're like, oh, I guess this week we're doing Player Go Home.
They've got a bunch of those up on those little refrigerator magnets with words.
They just have like 7 words, like played home.
Who changed this to player go but? That's not what we named
This is
at
an
all.
official document. Now we need to name the episode this. So we start off on the Gondol tribe. Ty, very gracious. Thanks everyone for not voting him out. He's very sweet. I love him. Dr. President wants to make new alliances, so he talks to Ty about taking out Joe. Apparently he's desperate to make a move. He is playing or going home.
Those are the only two options you have.
When you play
Like
Survivor,
living free or dying.
When you play Survivor, you either play or go home.
You know, I find myself thinking that a lot when I'm watching Survivor. I'm like, look, they better play or they're going home.
I know. It's the only two options. Over on the Chandlo tribe, Nicholas, a.k.a. Milo Ventimiglia, says that he is going to make connections now, like a fucking robot.
Yeah.
He is the biggest creep.
He is a huge creep, and I think it's fitting that there was a conversation between him and Debbie because they are very similar.
Oh,
in
they're
their
perfect
weird,
for each other.
calculated, like, creep bullshit.
Although, I hate to say it, I think Debbie is a little more subtle about it.
Oh, I know, and that's insane.
That is saying a lot about our good friend Milo. Debbie discusses how beautiful he is in, like, textbook
Greek
detail.
god,
It's
yeah.
weird. It's really weird.
He's got really angular features with which it's modeling. I know, because I've been modeling off and on for, like,
for
however
years,
many-
yeah.
Debbie, I don't fucking care.
I love, too, how they, like, cut to her in a talking head saying that, and then as soon as she said, I've been a model for years, it, like, the subtitle with her name and occupation appeared, and it said part-time model. So I don't know if you've noticed, but every time she, like, her occupation is on there, it's something else because she's done so many things. I don't know, they might have covered that in the first episode, which you missed because you're an idiot.
Yeah, I am too dumb. I'm not as smart as Debbie, clearly.
Yeah, well, she's on the Brains tribe, and you're on no tribe, so...
It's true. I don't even get a tribe, so...
You need to
can't
get
compete.
on a tribe. Nicholas realizes that Debbie probably has a crush on him, but also she may be buttering him up, but probably not. He's an idiot. Like, he figured it out, and then was like, no, there's no way that's the case. Like...
She's old, gross.
Gross. I don't like oldies. And she's probably like 40.
No, I think she's like 50.
Old. Go home, Debbie. Don't even play. Go home.
No olds allowed, except for Grandpa Joe.
He's the only old I like. Then they get the tree mail, and it says that the next challenge will involve some variation on basketball, and they correctly theorize that Skotrick will be shooting for Gondol because he shot in the National Basketball Association. But don't worry.
When you're shooting in the big leagues, that's one thing, but when you're shooting on Survivor, that's a different thing entirely.
Shoot or go home. That's what they always say.
Yeah. Shooter's going to shoot, or they're going to go home.
Go home or it's going to go home.
Saying. Ball is life.
Ball is life. Don't even skip leg day.
Basketball never sleeps.
Mm-mm. It's the city that never sleeps of sports.
Yeah.
Not to worry, though, about Scott's 11 years in the NBA. Nick played point guard in high school.
Yeah, about the same thing.
So, which he graduated from probably about 12 years ago. It's fine. Then they go to this reward challenge where they have to release 30 buoys from a net underwater, then transfer those buoys to land where they shoot the buoys into a basket. And the first tribe to 10 buoys in their basket wins. Hooray! Gondol's the first to get their buoys. Scott shoots for Gondol, Nick for Chen Lo. Scott pulls out ahead, but then Nick times him up after 3. And then Nick pulls ahead, but then they tie up again at 8. And then Scott goes up by 1. And then he takes a second to shoot his last ball. And he gets situated as Sydney, who's on the other tribe, yells at him, "What are you doing?" And he shoots, and just winning. And the buoy drops in the basket. It's great. It's very dramatic.
It was really cool.
It's a Hollywood finish.
Yeah, it was neat. It was neat watching Scott. You can just tell there's a level of skill there where he is just setting up perfectly, and his form is so consistent.
Yeah.
And even though he hasn't been playing professional basketball in a while, it's still the muscle memory is still there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, and to Nick's credit, he pushed Scott. At the end of the challenge, Scott says "Hey, good job, Nick.
Good
you
shooting.
Pushed me on that one.
Good shooting, kid." Shooting. That's what he said. He said "good shooting, kid" to Nick.
But also, I played in the NBA, so get your fucking poser ass out of get out of here. Nope. Tell me how my ass tastes.
Oh man, did you see on Twitter? I retweeted it, but it was an interview with Kobe on whatever analyst show that Shaq is on with
Inside the NBA.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, and they were joking around about some game from forever ago, and Kobe said, "It's so funny." He said, "Oh, what was the exact quote?" Something like, "Well, it's the people who win history battles that write the history books." I get what you're getting at, Kobe, but that's not at all what that means.
That sounds more like something that Shaq would say. Kobe's to his credit, is a pretty smart dude, but not great. That's not going to be going in your autobiography.
Yeah, that's actually going to be the title of the autobiography. Autobiography. Yes. By
You're the kind of person that says biopic.
It's an understandable mistake until you actually think about it. And you're no, that doesn't make any sense at all. That's not a word. So anyway, Gondol tribe. Julia's worried about her place on the tribe. Oh, Julia's on the Gondol tribe now. So that's good for her.
Good old Yulia.
She's worried about her place on the tribe, so she tries to be charming to get to know people. It's weird when they're like, "I'm going to be charming. This is a strategic move to be nice to people." But also it's necessary, so whatever.
To her credit, she's a lot better at it than Peter or Nick are.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's a high bar, but...
She reveals that she is a junior at BU. She's 18 years old and she's a junior.
So, she's probably going to turn 19 pretty soon.
Yeah, but she must have started college when she was really young. She must be real smart.
Could be a smart lady.
Smart. All right.
I'm glad you liked that I said that.
I think it's a fun word. It's like if you're really good at making s'mores, like if you're really smart, if that's a skill you have, you're really smart.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. You know when you're like at a campfire and you're like, let me make the s'mores. I'm real smart. Oh.
Well, it's been fun doing this podcast, but I'm afraid we're going to have to wrap up the show forever.
All right, bye. Dr. President tells her he's an ER doctor. He, like, specifies that he's an ER doctor. Like, doctor's not impressive enough.
I'm like George Clooney, basically.
Yeah, you ever see that show ER? No, you were born after it went off the air? That's fine. I'm George Clooney. Hi, nice to meet you. My name is George Clooney.
I'm George Clooney. I'm the Dr. President.
Dr. President says that he doesn't think Julia is conniving. I don't know where he got that idea. He just decided that and was like, this is the case.
Yeah, because he's an idiot.
He is an idiot.
He's not an idiot. He's just incredibly self-centered.
Yeah.
So
I don't like him, and I want him.
That's finna come back on him.
Yeah.
By the way, the idea that Julia is not conniving.
Yeah. And then they cut to Joe and Aubrey watching Dr. President talk to Julia, and Joe says, I don't understand the man. Bright, smart, intelligent. And then Aubrey cuts him off and says, a dope. He and Liz were meant to be. Aubrey's fave of mine.
Yeah, I like Aubrey.
She wants to talk, or Aubrey wants to take out Julia and calls Dr. President rogue and desperate. Over on the Chandler tribe, Nick is sad because he lost the challenge. Whatever. He's like, hey man, don't worry about it. You'll get him next time. And then Michelle is also sad because she feels like she lost the challenge for him because she took forever to get the balls out of the net.
And then they're all being really fucking mean to her about it.
Right? Like, it's a difficult challenge. Also, it's a reward challenge.
Yeah, like, Nick had a lead at one point.
Yeah.
It's not like they couldn't have won.
Yeah. If it's anybody's fault, it's Nick's. They should murder him.
Yeah, kill him.
Yeah,
literally there's one point where she's, like, going out to, like, swim or whatever, and Debbie's like, keep an eye on her, she might drown herself out there. And, like,
it's funny, suicide.
It's a really hilarious thing I said.
Michelle plans to use her social skills to get back in the game. Again, why is... Okay, fine. She apparently likes Debbie and thinks that siding with her may be her best option. And they discuss voting out Jason. And then Nick tries to tell Michelle that she's the target. And Michelle says, in a talking head, that she would not tolerate a man talking to her like this in real life. And then Nick says in his talking head that he has to coach Michelle through this game. Where are these men getting this idea that people don't know how to play the game?
Yeah, like he's gonna fucking mansplain to her how to manipulate people while she is, like, purposely modulating how she's talking to him to manipulate him.
It's so perfect.
What a fucking moron.
I hate him. Yeah, Michelle plans to let Nick think that she needs to be babied for as long as possible. And I really hope I don't want to see Nick anymore, but I hope she uses... This con is long... and she, like, turns on him at the last possible second. It's like, no, fuck great. You. I was never a friend of yours.
Yeah, also you suck.
You're the worst. I'm gonna take you to the Final Four and cut your throat then. So Michelle's a fave now, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michelle's pretty cool.
She seems to have a good head on her shoulders. Which is good. Good for her. Over in the Gondol tribe, Dr. President talks to Scott about Aubrey and Grandpa Joe. And Grandpa Joe notices them talking and gets nervous, so he plans to talk to Dr. President to see if he lies. So he's in the FBI, so he knows about these things. He knows a little bit about lying. So Grandpa Joe goes up to Dr. President and asks if he's trying to take him out. And he goes, if you lie, I'm telling you, you're done. And then Dr. President gets really nervous and says, "Whoa, who said that and when?" Like, what?
Yeah, like he like is just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
I've never...
What do you mean? Like, yeah, sure, I've talked to everyone on the tribe except for you guys, and you obviously want me out, so it would make sense that I'm trying to get you guys out. But why would you think that? And then Grandpa Joe says, maybe the best... This is a quote that probably should have been the episode title. Did you hear the question? It's not a fucking tough question. And then Dr. President denies it, and Grandpa Joe says, okay, and then walks away. Then later calls Dr. President the cancer. That's 2 episodes in a row somebody's called him a cancer. So, not looking good for the old...
Not a good look for a doctor.
Not a good look.
When you're getting called
right?
cancer.
Like, I don't want to bring my ailments to you. You are an ailment embodied. You're a cancer, which is bad. I have a cold. I don't want your cancer, Mr. Cancer. Oh, that would have been a good nickname for him, Mr. Cancer.
We have a way better nickname than that. What are you talking about? Mr. Cancer.
Well, if they'd...
Mr. Cancer is like his secondary nickname.
Yeah.
Like how like Shaq's like Shaq Diesel.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's one we break out every once in a while.
Yeah, like, we know who you're talking about if you say Diesel, but it's Shaq. Please, Diesel was my father. Call me Shaq.
Well, I mean, also, you kind of have to say Shaq Diesel, though, because if you just say Diesel, you could be talking about Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Kevin Nash, so...
I think more people are familiar with Shaq than Kevin Nash. But also, maybe they're not as familiar with Diesel, the nickname.
They're both, I mean, look, they're both tall men who at one time were nicknamed Diesel and rose to prominence in the 90s, so...
And they both consume diesel fuel to survive.
Yeah, they also both have to... They feed, like, their trucks. That's like whenever you saw Shaq on the sideline and he had, like, one of those Gatorade bottles, there was diesel fuel in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's a well-known sports history fact.
Yep.
You can check me out on ESPN2. I've got a new show there called Sports History Facts, all about Shaq's consumption of diesel fuel. It's amazing.
Jake, this is the 5th episode. You're going to have to give us a different fact.
Do you want to talk about Kevin Nash? He also consumed diesel fuel. They went to the same gas station.
You mentioned this in the 2nd episode.
Isn't it interesting, though? It's amazing that I even got to 5 episodes. They canceled it after 5, though.
Yeah, my producers are telling me the show's been canceled. Are you going to let me finish out the rest of the show?
No.
Okay.
We signed a contract for 24 episodes now, but we can't. We're canceling the show. So I turned it into a podcast, though. It's the same thing. I mean, it's like it's audio from the show from the first 5 episodes, just recycled.
Yeah, it's a shame that you blew all of your ESPN2 money on all the recording equipment for that podcast, because those things are just so damn hard to monetize.
I would think that it's worth it. I mean, I get to talk about Shaq Diesel all the time. Every day, new episode.
How many listeners you got on that one?
Well, so far there's 1, but I haven't really promoted it yet.
Are you sure that that one isn't just you when you download it?
Oh, no, it definitely is. And I listened to it. I'm like, this sounds a lot like last Monday's episode. I'm gonna have to do something different.
Better make another one.
And then I just post the same audio from that episode on the next Monday. It's not a great podcast, but I like making it. So check it out on iTunes. It's a daily podcast. It's called Shaq Diesel Monthly. It's
comes out every week.
It's on the Maximum Fun Network.
Please, we're really happy. I'm sure you guys were very happy that you hit your donor count. So you're going to give them a special bonus episode now. That's still the same audio.
It's going to be all 5 audio tracks played simultaneously. This is what you pay $5 a month for.
Take that, Jesse Thorne.
Yeah. I mean, he gave me a job, so let's not talk shit about Jesse Thorne.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, like, you're like giving him a finger where it's like, ha, you paid money for this, you idiot. Take that, John Hodgman.
Yeah. Judge John Hodgman, where do you stand on a Shaq Diesel podcast, which is the same thing every week? You know what it's time for?
What?
Our newest segment called Real World Roundup.
Breaking news. We have breaking
news. The Real World aired a new episode this week. So as we've discussed, this week's episode of Survivor was called Play or Go Home, which is a very similar phrase to this year's theme for the Real World, which is Go Big or Go Home. A lot of potential going home this week on reality shows. So for this week's mission, there's a mission. They got to do something every week. They got to go big every week, or else they're going home.
Or they got to go home.
They got to play or go big or go home. There's 3 options.
3 options now.
There's 2 of the options are the same thing, just different words. So this week's mission, the guys have to dress in drag and go out on the town. It's not a very difficult mission. Dion's super into it, and Chris is less into it, but is having a good time nonetheless. And then Dean is pretty wary of it, but eventually he enjoys himself. And everybody gets super drunk and makes out a lot, like you do. Then Sabrina's upset that Dion and Kayla are making out. And then later it's revealed that Dion had been dating someone for about 4 months before coming on the show, but they're not together now. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And they talk on Skype, and at one point Jenna walks up to their Skype conversation and is like, "Hi, I'm Jenna," and this woman, her name's Amanda, but they call her Please, weird nickname, but whatever. She looks away when she's like, "Hi," and then looks off at something else, and it's like, whoa, that's going to cause some drama when she comes to visit.
Drama.
Yeah, I know. CJ and Dion make a bet about whether or not he and Kayla will hook up. And then, guess what they do?
Remind me, is Kayla the one with the golden pussy?
She is indeed. Good memory. They have sex in Kayla and Jenna's room. Well, Jenna is sleeping in the other bed. Who are these people? What are you doing?
Cool, good roommates.
Yeah. They don't have a boom boom room, which I think is what they called it on Are You the One? Or, what did they call it on the Jersey Shore?
Smash room?
Was it the Smash Room?
I don't know.
Smush room, something like that. Fuck room. They called it the fuck room.
Yeah, the fuck pit.
Let's go to the fuck pit.
Hey, let's go do sex at the fuck pit.
I miss that show. I mean, not really. I'm glad it's over, but I have fond memories. Yeah, I have fond memories of it, especially the first season. And the 4th season, was that when they went to Italy? Anyway.
I think it was the 3rd.
Was it the 3rd season? No, first season was Jersey. 2nd season was Miami. 3rd season was Jersey again. 4th season was Italy. 5th season was Jersey. 6th season was probably Jersey again. I don't know.
God, that's a lot of seasons.
They did 6 seasons in 2 or 3 years.
The same people. Oh my god.
Yeah, that show was crazy. Let's bring it back. Just kidding. Let's not. It had its time, and it was great. I mean, it was terrible, but I love terrible things. So Sabrina, Jenna gets out of her bed and then sleeps in Sabrina's bed, and then Sabrina spends the rest of the night mad at Kayla and Dion because Sabrina wants to hook up with Dion, but Dion doesn't like blondes. Okay, fine.
I think I tangent brought me away from this, but I have been in a position where someone has been having sex while I'm trying to sleep in the room. This happened when I was at was in the dorms at Central.
Oh yeah.
And I woke up to glance over and hear/see that my roommate was fucking someone, and I had to will myself to go back to sleep. Please.
Oh my God.
You can't know that I'm awake.
It's
the worst, the absolute worst feeling.
One time I was out with a coworker of mine. We were hanging out, and I crashed at his place, and he had a pull-out bed, so I slept on that. And then I heard the door open, and his roommate and some girl he picked up at a bar walked in, and the girl, like, gets into the pull-out bed with me and, like, tries to cuddle up to me, and I'm like, what's going on right now? And then she, like, he takes her to his room, and, like, I can hear them. Like, I don't think they even closed the door. And it was over in, like, 2 minutes. Like, come on.
Good job, guy.
Good job, dude. I hope...
Ever heard of Foreplay? Long time? The Boston song? It's a good one.
Foreplay or go home. Speaking of Sabrina, she also gets her own mission. She was adopted and has never met her real mom, so she has to call a private investigator that will help her find her mom. And then the episode ends...
I hope it's the private investigator from Nathan for you.
That would be great. I don't think it was, unfortunately. What if it was like...
What if it was just Nathan?
I was just gonna say
private eye that she called.
And then the next season of Nathan for You was just like him infiltrating in the real world house in any way possible. Oh man,
Oh, that would be amazing.
that show is great. That is like honestly, that's probably my favorite show that's on TV right now.
Can you imagine how many pictures they would take of them as a group with him just like hanging out in the background,
Just like staring at the camera,
like he does? Yeah.
I would love it. Man, let's get Nathan Fielder on the real world. He's way too old, I think, but I think he'd be great.
I would love to have.
Can
him
you
on the
imagine
Real World.
Nathan Fielder on the challenge? Not like Nathan Fielder the
He would
person,
get
but Nathan
eliminated
Fielder
after
the
1 week 'cause
character.
He would be like, okay, like I'm gonna go. It's just, I forgot. I just have.
Oh man, we got it. Nathan Fielder has to work with TJ Lavin in some capacity.
Or like a week where he's like a guest host and he designs the challenge.
Oh my god, like crawl through this small door where there's an alligator. That's it. That's the entire challenge. Whoever does it the fastest wins. So the episode of The Real World ends with Kayla and Jenna getting into a shouting match about Kayla hooking up with somebody in their room. It's supposed to be like a dramatic cliffhanger, but like the entire show is just people yelling at each other. So yeah. So that's the end of the Real World roundup. Do you feel rounded up?
I thought you were. I do. I thought you were going to say that's the end of the Real World and just cut it off at that. Like it's over. No more episodes.
They did 2 episodes of a new season and they're like, who cares?
Yeah, this is our series finale. Impromptu.
So let's talk about the immunity challenge over on Survivor, the real show. They have to run over some obstacles and then knock some blocks out from a net overhead, and then stack some blocks. Scott helps everybody over an obstacle, and Jeff says, "This is a Probst quote segment. Probst quotes."
Probst quotes.
Jeff Probst says,
Who said it? Jeff Probst.
Jeff Probst.
What is it? It's a Probst quote.
I like that theme song. Jeff says, "This is like a day out with his kids." That's the end of the segment. Probst quotes.
Yeah.
Probst quotes.
Wait, didn't he say this? Didn't he say he's like a dad with his kids?
Oh, either way.
Because I don't think of many days out with your kids where you're lifting them up on top of like a net thing. I think it was more to illustrate that it just looked like he was picking up children and boosting them up to this little.
I don't know.
Thing they
I feel
climb
like
over.
dads often are picking up children and putting them on top of jungle gyms. Is that a thing that happens?
I mean, yeah, but that would. I don't know. I'm right. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm
That's
right.
fine. So Gondol's plan is to stack the small blocks, and then Scott holds them as they stack the larger blocks underneath. But the strategy doesn't pay off because they drop some blocks, which gives Chan Lo the opportunity to win, and they do.
And then they do.
And then they do
then
win.
They
So we go over to the Gondol tribe. Aubrey doesn't think that getting rid of Dr. President is a good idea. She tells Grandpa Joe to work it out with Dr. President, and Dr. President is like, "Don't worry about it. It's going to be Julia." Okay, fine. He's, like, for such a smart person, he is illogical. I don't understand him. Anyway, Scott asks Dr. President if he wants to talk. Dr. President doesn't want Joe or Aubrey anymore and wants to keep Ty because he wants to try that Vietnamese chicken that Ty was going to make. Which, okay, fine. You've got your reasons. But I feel like there are more important things. But, well,
Gotta have your priorities, Vietnamese chicken.
yeah. Like, how many spices?
Also, like, that's the only reason you don't want to vote Ty out.
Yeah,
That's
really.
the only reason. There's so many reasons to not want to vote him out.
Yeah, like, literally everything. Every reason you wouldn't want to vote him out you can think of is why I don't want to vote him out. So Julia's the only option for them. And then Julia and Ty talk to Aubrey, and Aubrey says, are you going to keep someone who's going to blindside you before you blindside them? And, oh, yeah, good point. Then Aubrey tells Joe that they might want to vote for Dr. President instead. But Joe is sticking to his word and refuses to switch. Good job, Joe. Like, that's great. You know? Super happy that you're sticking to your word. But also, God, dumb.
It's great, Joe. And I'm gonna let you finish. But remember that? Remember when that was like a meme?
Yeah, that was funny. That was a real a staple of pop culture history. Check out my other podcast, Staples of Pop Culture History.
Do you remember that? And do you remember like Forever Alone guy? Like, remember him?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do remember that.
Just like the meme cycle, you know?
Yeah, I know. And you think that like these memes are going to be like very memorable, very memeable.
Yeah, very memorable.
But,
like right now, I'm in the mindset where I'm like, when I'm 40. I'm still going to be seeing Crying Jordan photoshops.
I love Crying Jordan, though.
Timeline.
Like, of all the dumb memes, Crying Jordan is the funniest thing. It's
really great.
I die laughing every time I see it.
Because they get progressively, like, either more complicated or lazier.
Yeah.
And I like them in both facets. And I like that some people hate it.
Yeah, like any meme. But yeah, I did this other podcast. I guested on this Lost podcast called Get Lost. We watched the season 4 finale, and we got talking about memes, and the host was like, what's your favorite meme? And I was like, I literally can't think of one right now. Like, I sort of remember them.
Favorite is a strong word for any meme.
Yeah. I tolerate all of them. That frog thing it won't go away, no matter how hard I try.
Despite Jake's best efforts, he can't get Pepe the fuck out of here.
Have you seen that thing that's like, it's like I think it's a Reddit thread or something that's like, we should make a scorpion based on Pepe the Frog and call him Thief. And somebody's like, get the fuck out of here. It's great. It's one of my favorite things. I love the internet. That's all I have to say about that.
Put that on your fucking gravestone.
I'm gonna put that on my resume. I'm gonna Jake Scheidel,
Yes,
my
Jake
phone
Scheidel.
number, and then just I love the internet.
Love the internet.
Centered
the internet.
in the middle of the page, nothing else.
I love the internet. Please hire.
in like 2 size or 2 point or whatever, like at the very bottom of the page, so you can barely see it. Please, I just need you to know I love the internet. I think that that can be useful in this food service job.
I need this so badly. Please hire.
And by I love the internet, I mean I'm gonna go to the bathroom a lot and tweet. That's how I'm gonna spend 50% of my time at this job. Please don't fire me.
You're gonna think I poop like 8 times a day.
Which, granted, I do. You poop a lot? How often do you poop?
Oh wow, that's an intensely personal question. About once a day.
I think that's probably good. 1 to 2 times a day, I think, is probably average. One time I was in high school. I mean, I was in high school for 4 years. But one time, while I was in high school, somebody asked me how often I poop, and I was like, I don't know, I don't keep track of that. And they were like, oh, I poop like once every 3 days. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know anything about the human body, but that seems like not often enough.
He's got a slow metabolism, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. You want to talk about some wildlife shots?
Oh, yeah. Hit me with your best wildlife shot.
There we go. Good reference to a song.
You know what would be really great? Like, if I had the skill or the time or the inclination...
What?
For this segment to...
Edit a song?
hit me with your best shot, and just edit in me going, wildlife, between best and shot.
I think that's a really great idea. Please do it. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. All right, cool. Good plan.
You've got the audio of me saying wildlife. So.
Let's do it one more time. Really? 1, 2, 3.
Wildlife.
All right. I'll get that in there. Wildlife shots. Spider, scorpion. Spider, monkey.
Caterpillar.
Monkey. A lot of monkeys. Birds, which I couldn't tell what kind of birds they were because it was a silhouette, so I couldn't look up. Silhouette birds in
You watching
Kaôh Rōng.
this is like, this is bullshit.
What kind of bird is this? There's a lizard, which is cool. Some more monkeys. Sea urchin. That's the second sea urchin this season. A tarantula. And a snake. It's pretty, a lot of them, but not bad.
They had to make up for, 2 weeks ago?
When there were none, yeah. They were just like, oh, fuck, we forgot. Tribal council time. Jeffrey asks if there's any cracks in the tribe. And Aubrey says something vague about how people aren't committed. And Dr. President says if there's any fissures... Oh, excuse me, I almost burped. If there's any fissures, then they'll be shown tonight. Interesting take, Dr. President. Grandpa Joe doesn't know which way the vote is going. Aubrey whispers to Scott, her or Dr. President? And Scott whispers, Dr. President. And then Jeff mentions how there are still side conversations happening while Dr. President is talking, and Dr. President says that he can't read lips, and then says, he says so many quotes that are just great, knowing that he's going out.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's like piranhas, and I'm just trying to get on this feast, which isn't really a common metaphor, but I get what you're saying. And then Scott announces before they go vote, Julia, original plan. And Jeff's like, what was that? And Scott says simply, original plan. And then Jeff is like, okay, it's time to vote. And Aubrey whispers to Joe, is it her? And Grandpa Joe says, mm-hmm. That's how Grandpa Joe sounds. Mm-hmm. That's how Grandpas sound.
Sorry, Jake, I think I lost my co-host for a second there, because we had a special guest star, Grandpa Joe.
Do you want to hear? He's still here. Do you want to hear some more from him? I can do a quick interview with him.
Yeah. So, Grandpa Joe, how did you feel about this final vote?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all the time we have for this interview.
Thanks for coming by, Grandpa Joe. If you know anybody else on Survivor, if you know Jeff, which you do, because I've seen you talk to him, can you tell him to come on this show? Mm-hmm. Thanks, Grandpa Joe.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Have fun at your chocolate factory. So as Dr. President votes, he says, Julia, this was the plan as far as I know. As long as it isn't my name written down, I'm cool. Again, if there was any doubt that he was going home before this, that sealed it. And Aubrey goes to vote and writes down Julia's name. And then Jeff collects the votes. First vote, Dr. President. Then Julia. Then Dr. President. Then Julia. Then Dr. President. Then the final vote has Julia's name. But it's crossed out. And Dr. President's name is there instead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good job. Mm-hmm.
Eat shit, motherfucker.
Yeah. Go die. Go have the surgery. Do a bad surgery where you do surgery on yourself and botch the surgery. Is that harsh? Was that a little harsh? He's an ER doctor.
Maybe he shouldn't have been so arrogant to think that he could perform surgery on himself and when he isn't a surgeon.
Yeah. I assume all ER doctors are surgeons. Why would you go to the ER if you don't need surgery? I don't know. I don't know much about ERs.
Yeah.
I've never been.
No, me neither. That sounds about right, though.
In his final interview, he says, $1 million isn't worth my bond or my word. What are you talking? Yes, it is. You flipped so many times.
The way that you said $1 million, because you paused like a little bit, maybe. That he was just like, oh, by the way, I do like a rad Dr. Evil impression.
I forgot to mention this.
$1 million. Anyway, see ya.
I should have used this on the show. I might have lasted longer. What are your predictions? Who's going to win?
Who indeed?
Well, for me personally, I'm still sticking with Sydney.
Yeah, I think so. I think I will also stick with Sydney.
All right.
Who's going home next week, though?
Who do you think?
Well, the show teased us with the fact that the merge is going to be next week. I'm gonna say Nick.
Okay, I thought about that, but I'm feeling Grandpa Joe is gonna go.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then he has more time to be on our podcast.
Yeah,
because this show is filmed live.
Yeah, it was nice that we were able to get a satellite feed of him.
Yeah.
I could see that because Aubrey doesn't. I mean, that alliance is probably done.
Their alliance is strong, but outside of that alliance, which is only 2 people, I don't think they have enough connections. I mean, I guess Joe is close with Debbie, and Debbie is close with a lot of people. Maybe I made a bad prediction.
I don't know. Aubrey, I think would be smart to throw in with Scott and Julia and Ty right now.
Yeah, and Jason and Sydney. Don't forget about them.
Yeah, that's a potentially very strong alliance.
Yeah, I like that alliance. Who do you think is going to win the first individual immunity?
Ooh, I'm just gonna say Scott.
Scott? Okay. I see that. I think it's a little too obvious, though. So I'm going to say Sydney.
That's a good choice, too. That was one I was thinking about.
The current points are, I have 3, you have 2, but we'll see what happens this week on Survivor. Let's do some other notes real quick here.
Yeah.
I thought about this while watching the show. What do you think of a Jeff Probst Halloween costume?
I feel like you'd have to explain it to everybody.
You think so? You don't think it's that obvious?
You're just wearing like a button-down shirt and like cargo shorts.
Yeah, but if you're like doing the impression the whole time, if you like walk up to conversations, they're like, the tribe has spoken. They'll be like, oh, the dude from Survivor, yeah. Is it not a?
Is that what you do? Yeah, that's the best way to be at a Halloween party is to just say things that the person you're dressed up as would say.
Yeah, I go all in for Halloween. I act as the entire person. I do impressions of people.
Yeah, like when you're wearing your Heath Ledger Joker costume.
I'm like,
because it's
why so serious?
Yeah, you go up and you're like, and here we go, and people are like, oh, I didn't know what costume you were, but now I do.
Now I get it. Your very obvious makeup didn't give it away.
You're the Joker. You are Joker.
You are
man.
the Joker.
It's so cool that you did this 8 years
you're
after
the
this movie
jokester.
came out.
Hey, look, Suicide Squad's coming out in a matter of weeks or months, so it's pretty topical.
So you could have a worse Joker costume if you want.
You could say, "My life is black as the night," or whatever Jared Leto says in that. Remember when I was in that really terrible movie? And by terrible, I mean really good, but a movie I never want to see again. Requiem for a Dream. That's what it was called. I got it. I got there.
What if you were dressed as Jared Leto Joker and you didn't quote anything from that? You just came up and would like sing 30 Seconds to Mars lyrics?
That is a good costume idea.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
What are you? I am an amalgamation of Jared Leto characters. And one of them
Jared
being
Leto,
himself. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't know what I'm going to do for Halloween.
Yeah, you're not going to do that because I'm going to.
Are you going to do that?
I am also not going to do that.
Do you have?
Look, we've got 7 months.
Yeah. Do you have any plan? Do you have anything in your mind that you want to do?
No, Halloween's in 7 months.
Yeah, but I plan for my next Halloween costume like a week before the previous Halloween. I love Halloween. It's my favorite.
I do too, but I'm not planning that far in advance.
Whatever. Fine, suit yourself. You know who I'm going to go to Halloween as?
Who?
Johnny Bananas. Remember to use the hashtag Bananas on Survivor. Let's get that
God,
motherfucker on Survivor.
Have fun explaining your costume to everyone.
I'm not actually going to do that. It's a segue, you dumb idiot. I feel like...
That wasn't a segue. A segue is a thing that you ride on.
I have another podcast called The Crash Test Podcast. It's real fun. Check it out. We're also on Twitter as show DYWSLN. My Twitter is Jake Scheidel. Thomas, your Twitter.
My Twitter is THOM_not_TOM.
I often see your Twitter handle, and I'm like, oh man, that's almost a palindrome there at the end, if you spelled it differently. If your name on Twitter was Tom, not Ton, and then... Did you just fart?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man.
I've never farted in my life. I sewed my butt shut.
Oh, no.
Years ago.
Don't do that.
That's why there's like horrible fart fumes coming out of my mouth all the time. There's nowhere else for them to go.
People are just like, did you not brush your teeth? And no, I brush my teeth constantly. I just my butthole's sewed up, so I don't fart. This is better. This is a better use of my body.
I just ate some chili. Just a little gassy.
Just a little gassy. I am gassy. I had that coffee, and coffee sometimes makes you poop a lot or gets you real energized. It's just making me fart a whole lot. So that's a little peek into my life. We're also on Facebook. Did you watch Survivor last night? We also have an email, which Twitter likes to update us with things that are happening on Twitter. If you, an actual person, want to email us, go ahead and do that. The email is didyouwatchlastnight@gmail.com. And when you email us, remember to sign it with your pal, Jeff Probst, so we know where it's coming from.
When you email us, and you will.
Oh, as always,
have a great summer.
Deuces.
My life is brilliant. My love is pure. I saw an angel. Of that I'm sure. She smiled at me on the subway. She was with another man. But I won't lose no sleep on that, 'cause I've got a plan. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you. Yes, she caught my eye as we walked on by. She could see from my face that I was flying high, and I don't think that I'll see her again, but we shared a moment that will last till the end. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you. La-la-la-la. 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 You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. There must be an angel with a smile on her face when she thought up that I should be with you. But it's time to face the truth. I will never